Hello, everybody. This is Monkeypuzzle, and welcome to episode 17 already. And I like that number 17 of playing the Direwolf20 pack FTB for Minecraft 1.7.10 here on the Primus server. So I got a bunch of stuff to do today. First thing we're going to do is make a magnum torch. We're going to make some chandeliers. We need 5 of them. Why are we making a magnum torch? Well, so that we can do PneumaticCraft. What? How does that relate? I'll explain to you in a second. But turns out now, magnum torches need to be made in the QED. Let's turn on Whaler for a second. The Quantum Entanglement Doohickey. No, actually, it's not. It's the quadratic equation device. No, actually, it is the quadratic equation device again. Okay. Well, anyway, it changes every time. It's supposed to be a play on quantum stuff. But now we have the magnum torch. And if you don't know, magnum torches keep mobs from spawning in a 64 block radius. I think that's the number. Anyway, we're going to go over here to the Highland Overlook, the new potential spot. Ooh, turned around a little bit there. Potential spot for more base expansion. And I got some stuff we're going to get into in a minute with PneumaticCraft. But the reason I wanted to make a magnum torch is because when I hang out here extensively, I am in range of this little village that's loading in here. And I've got plans for this village. And I want to keep my villagers alive. You saw at the end of one of the episodes, I took the iron golems that I made when I was doing the Cursed Earth ritual. Hello there. And he's trying to intimidate me a little bit. Nah, he's sweet, really. And I put him here, and they're protecting these guys, but I want to make sure that they stick around for good, and I don't want any zombie hordes coming around. So let's just stick this anywhere around here, and that's just going to make sure that my villagers are good. And yeah, we'll expand the village later. There's also one of them, maybe this guy or somebody, is going to come in very useful for PneumaticCraft. We're going to make a PneumaticCraft villager. We got this sinister node that's making things all blackish green here. That's happening over at the Hexagon Tower as well. But I got stuck. I wonder what does that. Anyway, we'll heal this kind of thing later. We got to make some ethereal blooms in Thaumcraft, but that's not for today either. So let's get back up here. Hello, cow. Hello, chicken. And talk about PneumaticCraft. So this is a mod that I haven't gotten into before. I started a little bit at the end of last episode. We blew up some iron with some TNT and made compressed iron. But today we're going to get more fancy, and we're going to make the compression chamber to make our compressed iron and do all this stuff. I don't see many people getting into PneumaticCraft. It's a little hard to get into in the beginning. I've done some homework, and I'm sure I'm going to learn some more as today goes on. But my big goal with PneumaticCraft is to make some drones. And drones in this version of the game, they're these little flying things that you can use like robots. You can program with a neat programming interface that we'll get into. And you can have them do all kinds of things. Now, my particular interest with them is to do some building here. Maybe right here, I've got an idea for a cool build that I can do with them. And they're going to serve kind of like the modular force field system served me in previous episodes for building neat stuff. And they're not as versatile, but, you know, within their limitations, I think we can definitely use them. And I was challenged 2 episodes ago to do the PneumaticCraft drones. And I said yes, because guess what? I wanted to get into them anyway. So, and it's something I don't see many people doing. I don't know if many folks are really exploring the potential of them. And besides building, you can also use them to do all kinds of various tasks as much as you want to program them to do. And they can also be protection as well. You can have them survey a whole area for enemy mobs and keep you safe. A lot like I was having my Thaumium Golem guard do here, my little honor guard, which they aren't here right now. Where did they go? They're AWOL. No, they're somewhere else, and I'll show you them in a second. But first, let me clear my throat. So let me see how far I can get with this today, and I'm going to try to explain it to you as I progress. So I've set up a couple different levels of it as I was learning, and let me show you just the basics here. So here is the air compressor, and this is your basic engine in PneumaticCraft. It compresses air, and there's a few other ways to do it, but this is the main way we're going to use for now. And PneumaticCraft, as the name implies, is all based on air pressure, at least to begin with. And it's kind of the energy force, and you have to learn how to balance air pressure unless things explode. And it's supposed to mimic real-world physics to some extent, but then at a certain point it jumps into this level of high tech that doesn't really correspond, but it's still fun. So we'll suspend our disbelief because this is Minecraft. So let me see, I've got my little project bag here, and it's labeled that project. I expanded beyond my first golden bag of holding. Let me see, I don't want to waste all this because I'm going to actually sacrifice this one, which I'm giving it away. But if you put some charcoal in here, you can hear the air. It's starting to generate air pressure, and it's got a little gauge in here that shows you how much, but it's not gaining anything because it's all leaking out the back here. So we've got these pressure tubes, and we can put a tube on there, but for some reason these tubes don't come with caps. And so the only way to keep pressure in the system is to create a closed loop like that. And so now pressure is building up in the tubes as well. It's all shared equally between the air compressor and the tubes. And left alone, it'll just keep building and building. So I'm going to skip ahead until the pressure gets to about here, and then we're going to see what happens. Okay, we're getting pretty close there. It takes a good long while to build up, but there it is. I'm going to actually get out of that GUI so I can back up a little bit, because you probably guess what's going to happen. And it doesn't take long once it gets past that red right there. So, and you know, this whole thing wouldn't be as much fun if I didn't blow something up. So there you go. It actually saved my compressor, which is great. So you have to do stuff to keep that from happening. So let's remove this now. I'll repair this area in a little bit. And I have to use my pickaxe to break pipes and stuff for now. There's a wrench, a pneumatic wrench that comes with the mod, but I'm going to need to get a little further into it before I can use it. So here is a more advanced version of what I just did, and it has a couple other things added. It has this, the pressure gauge tube module, and it's also got the safety tube module. And this obviously just reads how much pressure is in the tubes. It's very much the same gauge that's in here. It's just externalized. And it has a difference that it emits a gradiated redstone signal based on how much pressure is in there. So when it's just building, it'll start here, and it works up here and here and here, until it eventually gets all the way to here. And just real quickly, I gotta say, hey, to Blizzard Penguin. So I figured out that 9 is the length of redstone it takes for this to turn off the air compressor at the appropriate pressure. And you have to go over here to the redstone behavior to make that happen and switch this to low signal. Now, that's not enough because there's a bit of a delay between this shutting off and this stopping the burn. It's like a furnace in that once the piece starts burning, it just keeps going till it's done. So in the meantime, you also have to have this safety tube module, which is basically a pressure release valve that releases at a certain pressure, but it won't do it without a redstone signal as well. And I figured out this took, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for it to shut off at exactly 5 bars. And if I, oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do that. if you use Wayla, it helps you a lot with this information because it's hard to calculate all this. There is a formula for it that we could look up, but it's that right there it says that the applied redstone is 5. That's the signal strength there, and that gives it the threshold of 5 bar. So that works out that 5 redstone gives 5 bar, but I don't think it always works out that way. And let's go to the in-game wiki I installed that I had installed separately on my client. And if I press I can go there. And over at the tubes and modules, we can see maybe there is that formula for these things. Let me see. There it is. The formula, the threshold in bars equals 7.5 minus the redstone strength times 0.5. So half of the redstone strength is subtracted from 7.5, and that gives you that number. So it's a little complicated, but not too hard. So this is a stable system at this point, and it's hard to demonstrate because it's static right now. Maybe if I lost a little pressure real quick, let's see if I can pull this off. Put that back on, close it off. When it gets back up to 5 here, you can see this has started burning again. The redstone signal is 1 away from here. And then when this gets up there again, then it will have enough of a redstone signal to shut this off, and we'll hear this leaking pressure at the same time as a safety thing, because like I said, that wouldn't be enough. So anyway, that's working its way there. I don't want to sit and wait for that to happen. What I've done is I've hooked up another version of this that I think is a lot neater than just having all this redstone all over the ground. I mean, that's not the worst thing you could do, but what I've done is I've used BuildCraft a little bit, and I'm keeping my ear open to hear that hissing, because there's a, yep, there it is. So it's releasing pressure because this is up to 5. This is now shut off, but it's going to keep generating pressure until this last piece of charcoal that went in there stops burning. And in the meantime, this is keeping it from blowing up. If I turn this redstone signal off, that would stop leaking pressure, and that over there would happen right here. So, yeah, I'm doing the same thing here, but just slightly more advanced because I'm using these BuildCraft gates that are called well, it says basic gate. Let me see. Go back to Wayla. Oh, it still says basic gate, but it's got a, I'm trying to remember what it's called. See if I've got one in here. I do. Installed expansions, the redstone fader. So the redstone fader you can make in the assembly table by adding a comparator with a redstone, I believe. And instead of just making the redstone chipset, it will make the redstone fader chipset that then you can add on to a basic gate. I think that's how it happened. Something like that. Anyway, I went over to Chillums and I did that, and I made some of these. And what they do is you can program in whatever level of redstone you want. So instead of having to have a whole line of redstone to get to that, I can just give this one a redstone signal, and when it gets it, it will give a redstone level of whatever I want. In this case, I want 5 in order for this to release at 5 bars. So this is the same as this, but using a slightly more compact way of generating that redstone signal. And I've got just a lever over here telling it yes. And I wasn't able to set it in a way that it would give me this without something over here. So that's what that is there. And then the same thing is happening down here. I've got an iron ore gate, and whenever this signal strength gets to 9 or 10, it emits a red pipe signal. And it's 9 or 10 because this, when it's going between 4.9 and 5.1, it goes between those two different strengths. So this was clicking on and off. So instead of just having one basic gate that I could set it to one or the other, I had to do the OR gate so that both, so I keep a redstone pipe signal on in either one of those numbers. And then under here, I've got gates. You can't see that are just giving this a redstone signal when they get a red pipe signal, and that's keeping these off. So we've got a bank of air compressors that are safe, they're not going to blow up, and we don't have redstone on the ground, and we're good to go. And I could keep expanding this out as much as I need to if I feel like I need more air compressors to generate pressure more quickly. So from there, that's the basics of generating pressure. And I'm just going to tear this up because we're going to use this space now. I just set this up because I didn't want to go straight to that and not show you guys this whole prelim of how it's done. I always try to do my Let's Plays in a, somewhat tutorial style so that if you haven't seen this stuff, you can learn as I go along rather than me just mystifying you, setting you all this stuff up that you've never seen before. So from here, we're going to go back into my project bag, this one, and we're going to make the full compression chamber. So I'm going to need these, I'm going to need these, and I'm going to need one of these. And probably some tubes as well. And if I need anything else, I don't know. I'm going into new territory from here. I haven't played with this part yet, but I've got enough of these walls and windows in order to make a 5 by 5 by 5 pressure chamber. And you can go anywhere from 3 by 3 by 3 to 5 by 5 by 5, and we're going to go straight to the 5 by 5 by 5 because we need to be able to stick a villager in it. And I'll explain why in a minute. And let me see. One of these is going to have to be a valve, but not yet. Actually, I'm going to move it one over just so we have a little space between here and there. And these walls are pretty ugly to start with. They look like, whoops, they look like they're just drawn with a real thick ink pen. But they get a little better when it forms the multi-block structure. So bear with me on that. And let's just keep the light going here. And I'm just going to do a little 5 by 5 by 5 base. Or the base is two-dimensional sort of, so it's just 5 by 5 at this point. But you know what I mean. And here, these got to go up 2, 3, 4. On each side. I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, there's the columns on the side. I'm just making a basic frame on top here because I'm going to fill in the sides with the pressure chamber windows. And I'm getting a little block lag here, a little delay. So, but I can't help that. It's just how it is today. Okay, so there's the basic thing. We have 3 walls left, and then I'm going to fill in these spaces with those. And I probably could speed this process up a little bit if I go in here and grab, ooh, that delay. There it is. My builder's wand. And put that there. And now I could probably just go dink, dink. A little faster. I'm going to get these other 4 sides done real quick. Okay, here's the last bit, but it's not going to form yet. And there's one space missing because one of these over here, and I need my pickaxe back, needs to be a valve. And let's just go for symmetry. Put it in the center. I need that. Give me that. Ah. Okay, I'll grab that. And go ahead and put that back. Put the valve there. And that gives me the one more window I needed. I calculated this precisely, I guess. And there it is. There's the multi-block pressure chamber. It looks a little better. Not great, but it is what it is. And if I click on there, we have an interface. We've got the gauge and space for some upgrades and places we can do things here. So I think since I've got this thing all balanced out, I can just hook this up. Let's see, shift right click there and one here. And now it should be connected to this. This now, they're turned on, so that's good. And we should be building up pressure in here. And not sure how fast it's going to build up. I did build a pretty big pressure chamber, but if I at all figured out what I'm doing, hopefully it's not going to exceed 5 bars. This is not going to blow up. It's a nice little animation there. Looks like pressure is building up. And it's going to take its own sweet time. So let's wait till we get there. I'll come back for that. And maybe I'll go ahead and I'll add a couple more air compressors onto here so that this goes a little faster. So I'll see you in a second. Oh, and by the way, I'm about to break a dirt block here. And it's a little faster than it normally is because I went ahead and added redstone onto this glove, this traveler's glove. And I wish I remembered the name of everybody who mentions everything. Sorry for that, but another one of my subscribers mentioned to me that how you use these gloves is you can upgrade it just like the same as you do Tinker's Tools. Although it doesn't take everything. Like, unfortunately, it doesn't take quartz to give me a better punch, but it did take redstone. So now my hand has some haste, and I can just break things faster like that. So that's pretty cool. And I think that also transfers to my tools as well. Anyway, I'm going to keep doing what I said I was doing. I'll be right back. All right, this is still building up. We're only up to not even 1.5 yet. I've added 2 more compressors on here. It seems like I'm going to need a lot more, but once this builds up, it probably will stay pretty good for a while, except the first time I use it, I'm going to have to break it, and that's going to let pressure out. And to avoid doing that, we need to make an interface where things can go in and out without actually breaking it and releasing the pressure. But another catch-22 is to make that, which is this thing right here. We need to make these 2 pneumatic cylinders, and to make those, we need plastic from rain plant seeds. And to make that plastic, guess what? We're going to have to put them in the pressure chamber. So we're going to need 12 plastic to start with, I think. Because we're going to need 2 of these, 6 each. So I got to throw 12 seeds in here. We'll lose some pressure. I actually probably should have just thrown the seeds in right away. In fact, yeah, let's just do that. And I've got all these seeds here that I've been building up for this, because we're going to need all kinds of plastics, and they come from the 14 kinds of PneumaticCraft plants, which all look pretty similar, but I'm going to show you how I did that in a second, how I got those. But let's go ahead and throw these in here for now. Let's go ahead and break this. I'm going to put my magnet on so that this piece comes straight to me, and I need my pickaxe. Break my nice thing already, and getting some warp at the same time. So let's throw all those in there. Let's close that back up. Let it build pressure again. So our seeds are floating in there. This went all the way back down again. So we'll leave them in there. We'll let it build up, and hopefully we'll get 12 pieces of blue plastic, and we'll never have to break this thing again. So the way I'm getting that plastic is over here, or the seeds. I've got my PneumaticCraft Plant Valley. So in here, it's kind of supposed to look like a little ecosystem of PneumaticCraft plants. And I've got all 14 in here. Now, a lot of people like to automate the production of these, but, you know, beyond this many, I don't know how many more I'm going to need. I had fun just doing it this way and just kind of getting to know each of the different kinds of plants. So of the 14, there's 4 of them that need to grow on special things. There's these. Let me turn Wayla back on again. The ender plants that grow only on end stone. And then we've got the fire plants. I think these are fire flowers that grow on the netherrack. And up here, the helium plants that grow upside down on netherrack. And then the squid plants, that grow on water. Everything else grows on dirt or grass. And they all have different characteristics. For the most part, let me see, let me get the sickle out. Oh, and let me turn my magnet off too. For the most part, if you break them and they fall back down on the grass, they plant, or whatever else they grow on, whatever their media is, they plant themselves. You don't hoe the ground, and you can't place them necessarily. let's do some. Here's another rain plant seed, and how about some creeper plant seeds? And we just have to press Q and throw them down, and they go pop, and they plant themselves like that. And it's not an exact science to do this, so it can take a little time to get everything just right. It's not always easy to get them exactly where you want. That worked out okay that time. And I just fly up so that I'm a little further away. And I've noticed, and the dynamic of some of these is that they have physics like that. And so which one am I doing there? The repulsion plant. Yeah, the repulsion plants will kind of keep moving until they damp enough to stop. And if they happen to be on a place where another plant is, they won't grow. And yeah, so I get up above them, because most of them I find that placing them straight down, I get the best results. And it can be a little tricky. Like, let's break these squid plant seeds, or the squid plants, and get the seeds. And actually I should have let as many as could plant themselves before I went and picked them all up. But yeah, I just kind of hang out up above here. I mean, I could go from here and I can throw them all in, and this works to some extent, planting these kinds of seeds. But see how they kind of just bounce along until they stop, and they don't actually plant themselves until they're stationary. So like I said, I like to just get up above here. I got some seeds over here. Distracted. And kind of throw them right where they're going to go. You see that's still kind of moved. And so if I could just get right above. Oops, that one already did it. Yeah, and I just spent a fair amount of time one evening just going and doing this kind of thing. It's hard to be precise. There's got to be a way to do it. Actually, I saw someone program the drones to do this in a very precise kind of way. But yeah, I can finish that later. But that's the dynamics of planting squid plant seeds. Let me see, these are the propulsion plants. Their seeds kind of bounce along until they hit a wall. Or if they do that themselves, but let me see, here is some of those. And if I throw them on, throw a little higher, they have to go all the way to the edge there. There's this little thing where they come back sometimes. I don't know what that's about. But then they still plant themselves. Now, I don't do it quite straight on. They'll kind of deflect off and go somewhere else. They're kind of tricky. There's burst plants that send their seeds up in the air and drop down. These flying flowers are pretty cool. Here's a flying flower seed. These ones will kind of just float along until they kind of land somewhere. You can release them straight down, and there's a better chance that they'll plant themselves before they float off, but it's a little iffy. You can see some of them, those and the burst plants, and some others have made their way all the way up here. Anyway, yeah, each of them have different dynamics. You can see that my honor guard is over here right now because when I first planted these, they were more active. They tend to not to go inactive over time, but the slime plant seeds were being really crazy, generating slimes. The slimes would spawn here and they'd be all over the place. And I spent a lot of time killing slimes, so I put these guys here to do it for me and so on. So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time talking about each of the plants and their characteristics, you know, and you can see they only vary by the color. They're actually all the same design. Otherwise, these ones, they're seeds. When they pop off, they can start fires somewhere. These ones can teleport randomly. These ones float up. They're a little tricky to plant. I only got these ones to take before. But if we grab... Oh, I left it up there. I left some bone meal in the chest there. But if you take bone meal and you feed it to these guys, you can also generate seeds that way without breaking them for the most part and not have to replant them. Not always. The lightning plants, if you give them bone meal, lightning will strike and it will plant one that way. And the rain plants, there's some dynamic with the rain. I haven't quite figured out what it's doing yet. But anyway, since we're not spawning slimes over here anymore, let me get my project bag back and keep my seeds in there. So yeah, I played with these quite a bit. But now I can grab my golems back and take them back to protect me while I play some more with the compression chamber and such. But yeah, there it is, PneumaticCraft Valley. They're okay. They're not the most attractive plants, but I had fun playing with that. It was more fun for me than just trying to automate it all this time. And I'm sure I've got enough seeds, enough seeds to get me for quite a while. And if I run out, well, we'll figure out what to do from there. Let's see how we're doing with the pressure. We're up past 1 bar. And that was enough to give me plastic. So let's go ahead and grab that. Lose our pressure. Grab I've got 12 of them. So that's excellent. Let's put this back together. So it starts building its pressure back up. It reforms. Excellent. And let me see. Let me place my golems back. So they're doing something and they get out of my inventory as well. Get out my inventory. All right, welcome back, buddies. And then now with these, let's see, let's head back where I can do my crafting more easily. Right here, and throw these in, and then let's get our interface. There, so let's make these first. Oh, and I gotta make that first, which means I need to make more of those. So let's grab, there might be some in here already. Oh, I have one here. Throw that in. So now can I do it? Let's see. I need the barrels, so I'm going to need 2 of those. 1, 2. Throw them back in. Go back here again. Okay, so I can get my 2 PneumaticCraft cylinders. And now, can I make these? Yes. So I've got my interfaces. Excellent. Head on back to the overlook. And let's go ahead and put these in. So wherever is going to be a good place to pipe stuff in and out, maybe here would be fine. Grab that. Yeah, ooh. And I think you can, someplace to set these either import mode or export mode. I'm not sure how to play with this all yet. There's filters for them, redstone behaviors. I probably need to figure out how to change this. Anyway, I got a little bit to learn. Let me play with this a little bit and then we'll move on. And I'll also check and see how much time we have left in the episode. Well, it turns out you toggle whether these are input or output by how you place them. See, there's an I on one side and an O on the other. So that's input and output. So I'm going to actually have to break one of these and flip it around. So I'm going to lose my pressure again. That's kind of cool. So yeah, if I turn this around, we'll have this one will be the output from this side. There we go. And put this back. Okay. I love that little mechanic. And then let's put some chests here for the input and the output and some item conduits. And we should be able to interface with them like this. This will just have to be insert, and that will be extract and opposite. And we'll just have to, let's not turn that one on yet because I don't want to be pulling stuff in and out right away. They're going to have time to do their thing in there. So maybe I should come up with a way that I can toggle that with this until I set up filters for it. Can I put a lever there? I can. Cool. So we'll just make this extract with a signal. So when stuff's ready, I'll just flip the switch and it should come right out. So let me see. We gotta let pressure build up in there again. I'm gonna try to get ready for the next thing and I'll see you in a second. Well, I checked the time and in my usual style, I have used it all. So rather than going overtime too far on this episode. I'm going to quit here, and I think I'm just going to start recording the next one right now because I really want to move through this PneumaticCraft stuff because I want to get to the drones, because I want to get to the build, and there's a couple other ideas I have to go along with this build. And I don't want to give away everything I'm trying to do, but I'll just say that the iron golems are a clue. Think about, if you know, where the idea of iron golems came from. It's not Minecraft. Minecraft got the idea of iron golems from somewhere else. And where they came from, there is a name of a thing in another mod in here. I'll just say it's Botania, and I want to do some stuff with that combined. And I'm trying to get this all to come together in time for, I'm climbing very quickly towards 1,000 subscribers. And this isn't going to be the end all, but I'd like to get this build done in time for that because I think it's going to be kind of cool. We shall see. But anyway, this is Monkeypuzzle, and I'm signing out for now. See you real soon. Bye-bye.